momentum in terms of being good friend with Matti Nieminen, the sport leader, director in the city of Heinola. And he has done, just like all his other colleagues who are here, Finnish colleagues, pretty good work. However, you see, we discussed, Matti and me, that what would be the way to open the view to Heinola, which is, you see, in Finnish terms it's middle size, and in Finnish term Turku is huge city with 2,176. Exactly, so huge one. And in Heinola you have there about 25,000 people. So actually it's a very typical Finnish city or municipality. So, and now many of those cities have been done good work, and Matti's and my approach were how to put this in this frame. You see, this WHO frame, so that our report is understandable. Bea, your presentation was very interesting when you had this WHO frame there, and then you see it's somehow you open. You see this how you recognize this. For example, when I was studying state, so my advisor to the final end, he always had wrong questions because he didn't understand, you see, Finnish sports structure. He always interpreted my message in having this American way to see things, because it is the American frame. So I think that in this level we really need a certain frame where we can understand the message clearly. So and I think that this is really important for this active city discussion, that we have some common frame where we start. That's the way how it's possible to understand. And I really think that this WHO frame is pretty good. However, my question is, are there any other frames and so on? And I hope that we are able to have, you see, this discussion with administrational experts in this field, coming from community, and continue discussion. What is actually this how to see this frame of municipality, city? And as you see this Finnish, there is some extra. Well, you see this when we interpret this WHO frame seen as in a Finnish way, so they are really important to recognize this central body, which is organizing things, organizing programs and so on. You see there are this intervention, policies, programs and so on. Pretty easy to understand. This built environment, land use, urban design, transport, green spaces and so on. Target groups, settings and so on. And then this huge challenge for Finns, this social environment. So I think this is very nice to go. Okay, that's a playground. And when Matti and me, when we put this Heinola, you see, in this playground, you see that Matti has said there, this older people, children and youth, employees. Actually, you started with this employees are, companies are really the starting point, about 10 years ago when you started. And then you see this cooperation with health, education, urban planners and so on. But you see, very important in Finnish terms is that Matti is the boss. He is running, you see, this cooperation with healthcare, and this healthcare takes about 40% of the budget of city, and he has about 1%. But anyway, he's running the sport, you see, physical active show in this area. The same here. Education and culture, schools and so on, and then community urban planning. I think that for Finnish model, Finnish way of thinking, so you see here, this local government pretty heavily financed sectors. However, it's run by, you see, this expertise of sports and physical activity department. It's really, you see, they have a really leading role. And now I return this to this Finnish challenge, which is met in, for example, my cousin Rainer Savola is in trouble because just by doing, you see, by doing sports alone in the community without connection to health, connection to education, connection to urban planning, the influence of sport is pretty tiny, narrow. But when having strategic cooperation with this administrational areas, so it means that it's important in the eyes of politicians. And if this sport administration, this activity from administration in the Finnish municipality, city, do not work well here, it's in trouble. And now I relearn this. So Heinola is, you see, working here, healthcare, workplaces, and neighborhoods. And then when we go to this point, so it really means the key situation. It really means that he has the strategic position in the management of the city. I repeat, sport leader belongs to the strategic leadership in the city. If he stays there so that he takes care only about facilities and so on, and they are clean and they are play and so on, he or she will be loser, because it's not a strategic task. It can be organized by technical department or like in the city. So I think that when we interpret, you see, this role of sport administration in the city, it's like that. So, and very shortly, you see, just like as I told before, so services provided with the city's sports, social, health, education, administration. That's a starting point, as we just like we heard from Lithuania, for example. Same list of structure. And then there is this global service network of city. It means that this health enhancing, this English expression, health enhancing physical activity. So it's global approach. And then there is, you see, this broadened HEPA service concept, fit for kids, fit for life adults, and fit for age citizens. And then there is, you see, this HEPA instructors. I have the picture of that. Information service network, training services, and then the study and monitor program. However, for example, one point. You see this health enhancing instructor network. You see this health services, occupational health nurses, school, it's LLD, school health nurses, medical doctors, physiotherapists, nurses, visiting nurses, and so on. They got, you see, knowledge in this field as well. School services, teachers in the kindergarten, school psychologists, and so on. Same thing. The knowledge is needed. Then social services, elderly care nurses, home care workers, social workers, psychologists, and so on. Okay, you see this kind of frame what is needed there. Not only this physical activity administration, but all of those are needed. And we are talking about not this in structure. And then you see this, actually, Heinola's model is really, you see, this setting context. Why they have been so effective? Because there is actually, when we started 10 years ago, we didn't talk anything about context or anything about setting approach. But it started already 20 years ago, starting from Australia. Australia was one of the Australia and what is the other country? Healthy Cities program. Europe and Australia.
Yeah, America, North America.
Europe, but Australia was in one of the starters in this 20 years ago in this setting of growth. So I think that this active city context, this kind of approach that we are really able to put our work in this frame. It means that we understand each other. It means that we are able to have reasonable researches, investigations that are related, and so on and so on. Well, actually, this is you see Heinola model we call about it. So we decided, Matti and me, we put in this you see this WHO frame and make a kind of exercise that how it is moving more. Well, that's it. Thank you for your attention.
How do you proceed? Because this is in a way what I'm saying. This is in a way ideal model concerning how we concept implementation.
And we have to explain that. I think that this is one kind of contrast for this active city in Finland or something like that.
Yes, it's easy to agree. Yeah. But perhaps we can continue about this tomorrow then. Well, and then
by of course saying thanks to all the participants in our group. We had a very nice debate and lots of discussions, opinions and point of views that are relevant for the concept of active city. We started first of all, Wolfgang gave us a nice picture of the background of a current situation in global sense, that we are at the moment, as described in this workshop previously also, that we have had cities and sports in a way separately at the moment, and there is a clear need to emerge these. And this concept of active city is trying to do that. But thereafter we went on and used some time to figure out, is the active city concept a process or is it a product? Which is more important, or how we see it. I think in a way it's both. If we look at some guidelines, or when we go to award perspective, we need to have some standards how to give an award for somebody, and that way it's a product and an outcome. But more of an emphasis at the moment perhaps is at the process level at this point. But then this is not in any sensible order, these things that I have written here. I tried to pick up some important issues that we discussed there. And first of all, the idea, okay, I already said that it's at the moment